going off to a shoot today, so I thought I'd take you with me because I know the apartment is going to be empty. It's just a 2-bed or 3-bed apartment, but it should be quite a nice one. It's at Nikki Beach, which is a really cool place. So I thought I'd take you with me and let's see what obstacles and issues we have and how we can overcome them, and nosy around an apartment, which is basically why we do this job anyway, isn't it? See you there.
Ah, look at me, all full of hopes and dreams for a beautiful shoot at a beautiful property. But yeah, it didn't really turn out like that. Right, so as I got into the property, I found that it was completely unfurnished and really dark. So it wasn't what I was hoping for exactly. No, not upgraded in any way, just a normal open plan living area, exceedingly dirty windows. It wasn't a great day anyway. The view was poor. We had only a partial sea view in this building, which is building 2 at the back. So yeah, wasn't quite what I was dreaming of. And also I discovered that we don't have any lights, which meant no air conditioning, no electricity, and I figured out, okay, so there's no lights even in the ceiling. Anyway, so I had a good look around and then found out that obviously with no lights and poor views, dark rooms, and all sorts of weird little shaped rooms, it wasn't going to be the easiest thing to shoot. However, there's one thing I can show you from this shoot, and it's how to remove reflections really quickly with a simple trick. So let me get into that. Okay, this is my ambient shot of the kitchen that I showed you earlier. And you can see a lot of reflections here coming from the big windows opposite. We don't have any curtains because it's completely unfurnished. So we also don't have any lights working in the kitchen to help kind of get rid of some of these shadows and some of these reflections. So you can see this ambient shot is kind of off-putting because we're kind of drawn to this huge area of reflections of the windows opposite. So it's a really simple trick, and HDR people, I'm sorry, but you're not going to be able to take part in this one because you need what's called a flash. Sorry for trolling HDR people a little bit there, but do get yourself a flash. How are you going to deal with this otherwise? Please, HDR people, tell me how you deal with these reflections. You just leave them as they are, or do you try and brush them all out? But this one you can do in 160th of a second. And it's as simple as using your flash. This is my flash shot. And you can see straight away that almost all of the reflections are gone because I can shoot at a much faster shutter speed. So I put that at, what, 100th of a second, as opposed to my ambient shot, which was 1/15th of a second. And doing that means that I can bring down the exposure, which means that you won't see too much of these reflections. And then I can make the shot brighter by just popping a flash. And then obviously I'm going to blend that with my ambient using some of the shadows. As you can see, because there's no actual lights in here, just the natural light coming from the windows, you've also got like a big shadow from this kitchen island cast all the way across here. Also, not what you want. You don't want to have that shadow beaming across all of these cabinets. So to clear this all up, and also to make sure you have the right colors, because you can see there's blues coming in here, a little bit yellows around here, and all sorts of problems, more blues here, is you hit it with a flash. Just one simple pop with the flash, and that will alleviate all of your problems. It'll get rid of all the problems with the color, etc, etc. Now with the flash though, you do get that flashy look, which means you do need to blend it with your ambient layer, and then you end up with something like this. It's very simple to do, and I'll show you how to do it right now. Okay, so the first thing I want to do with my ambient and my flash is just to do some basic corrections. I have a preset that I use that will put general corrections straight in as I import them. So you can do that. There's a tutorial about that I've done previously, check it out. And I also use a camera neutral profile. So with the ambient, I'm just going to do some basic color corrections. So I'm going to click up here where it's white, and I'm going to do the same thing for my flash shot. Now I'm just going to adjust the exposures for these to make sure they're about the same. And now I'm going to highlight them both and move them into Photoshop. I'm going to click Edit in and then Open as Layers in Photoshop. Okay, just give that a second for the layers to load. And the first thing we're going to do is to auto align the layers. You can go into Edit and Auto Align Layers. or you can set up a shortcut, which I do with Shift Command L, and then I can just hit enter. The next thing I want to do, if I can just show you, if I take that ambient layer off and show you the flash layer, if you ever have quite strong shadows from the flash, there are some here, then you will need to make a copy of your ambient layer, and I'll show you why in a minute. This one isn't too bad, but we'll do it anyway just to show you. So let's just bring that back. As you can see, that there's no shadows there in the ambient shot. So what I'm going to do is just do a Command J on that layer and make a copy. I'm going to go down here to my flash shot and just move that back up so it's underneath my ambient layer. So I have my ambient on top, then my flash, and then my copy as well underneath. So I'm going to mask this first one in. So I'm just going to go down here to where it says layer mask, hold down Option and click on that, and you get a hide mask come up. Now I'm going to hit B for brush, and I'm going to change this to luminosity. Now luminosity, as I've mentioned before, make sure that when you brush it in to reveal the ambient layer underneath, you're just bringing in the light. You're not bringing in any of the colors. Now you don't want to bring in the colors, and I'll show you why. The colors are, let me just hide that mask. The colors are not correct with the ambient. You get a lot of color casts, especially from the windows outside. You have blue lights and orange lights and all sort of horrendous things. So we don't want to use the normal blending mode. Just click on luminosity. Okay, so now you're on brush. Use a good size for your area you want to brush over. Something like this is going to be okay for me. I always have opacity at 100 and flow around 14. Right, so now with the blending, I don't want to touch any of this area here, because if I do that, I'm going to bring back in the reflections of the window. But I do want to reduce some of the flash at the top here, just a touch, and also on this area here. Now I don't want to hit the floor here because I'll get that shadow from the island. So I'm just going to hit wand and select this area here. And then I can hit B for brush and brush in a little bit of that natural shadow there. Command D to deselect that. And if you want to do any more, like I might do a little bit on the floor here, that's fine. Also, I'm going to just do a little up here. So I've got natural light coming in from the window. And then I'm pretty happy. The only thing that you need to worry about now is this unnatural shadow that's been caused by the flash. So let's just merge those layers together. And now we're going to use that layer that I made a copy of earlier on. Now we're going to move that layer to the top so we can reveal that. And I'm going to mask it again by hovering over the layer mask, holding Option, and then just clicking the mouse. And then you get this layer mask covering up that top layer. So now I want to reveal the light from underneath. But if we're using luminosity, as we were before, then the hard shadows can cause problems and give you orangey tones. So let's just have a look and see. Okay, so that's just brushing that away quite nicely. And that's worked out all right. So that's using luminosity. But you can see it's a little bit on the orangey side. Now, because we've done color corrections before, we can probably use normal. If we hit on normal, you can see the difference already. That color is just right. Now, the only thing I've done is brought back a reflection here, but we can easily get rid of that. Just hit wand again, select the area, hit your brush, hit X to change from the white foreground to black to hide again, and then just brush over that area. Command D to deselect, and there we go. Perfect. I've noticed that somebody's left some keys here on the side, so I'm going to hit J, zoom in a little, and I'm just going to swipe across to remove that. Should be very easy. Now, another thing that you'll see here is a little sensor dust spot, so I'm just going to click to remove that. And reminds me that I need to clean my sensor, which is something I'm going to do a video on next, so please do stick around for that. But there you go. So that's how you can get rid of all the reflections in these cabinets and also the shadows just by popping off a flash. And as I said earlier on, HDR people, if you do something different, how you do it I don't know, but please do let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching.